Hello and welcome along to the Project Cars 2 Virtual Racing League, where today you join us as we continue the Xbox Championship using the touring cars, of course, and we've had 5 rounds already, and today we are at round 6, which is the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. And throughout the first 5 rounds we have seen lots of different drivers on the podium. It's been an extremely open and extremely competitive championship indeed. Lots of different winners, but in the end of it, it can only be one person leading the championship, and at the moment it is Subrosa in the Renault who's leading it. But if we look at the team standings, first of all, it's Alex WWK, or Alex Stewart Davis as he's also known, leading the way. JB221 just behind, and this championship it just adds an extra dimension to the series, so all the drivers have something to compete for. The manufacturer's standings, of course, very important honours here, because Subrosa is leading the way in the Renault. D-Man is the top Opel driver at the moment. Stuart Davis is in a very tight tussle there with Scuderia Sam for the top honours in the BMW category. And then it's Roger the Dodger who's way out in front with the Mercedes there, because he's the only one pretty much who's gone with the Mercedes car, along with Swazar there as well. And like I say, in the overall driver's standings then it's Subrosa leading the way there. He's been very successful indeed, and he's got a real grasp on these cars, especially that Renault Megane. BTC Sedan's also in the Renault, he's not far behind, and then Roger the Dodger is really getting on well with that Mercedes. Then we've got one half of Team Island, D-Man there in fourth ahead of Alex CDL, Chris Doughty, Stuart Davis and Scuderia Sam, the 2 BMW drivers, and it's very close amongst all of them. So let's have a look at the starting grid today, Alex.
Yeah, Subrosa on pole again, very close to Jay Brown in the other Renault. So top 3 lockout with BTC down in 3rd with Alex 4th, and the first BMW of Krog in 5th, doing well in the BMW, and then Chris and D-Man both in the Astros, another Astro of Bad Wolf there. Scuderia Sam doing well just in front of Roger and his Mercedes. Then at the back we have Stu Davis, Loopy and Free Gazelle.
Absolutely, yeah, proves to be a fascinating race and really good action here at Brands Hatch as always. And away they go now off the grid, and it's Subrosa who leads away from pole position, and BTC Sedan's in second, battling away with Joe Brown in front, just behind with Alex in 5th, and BTC Sedan round the outside. Oh, there's a coming together, big crash there. Alex CDL is just coming through. Oh, massive crash again, coming back down from the paddock hill, and those are cars absolutely piling into each other. I'd love to be able to tell you who's who piling into each other. We've got Joe Brown, I think, has been involved there. Pretty much all the leaders. I think Subrosa was certainly involved. BTC Sedan was involved, the 2 championship leaders there. Roger the Dodger in 3rd in the championship. Where is he? He's 5th at the moment. Chris Doughty's up there, so Alex CDL's really benefited from that. He's in 1st now, ahead of Chris Doughty. Alex CDL creating a smoke screen as they go around the last corner. It's a very short lap here, of course. And Big Bad Wolf has really benefited. He's up in 3rd ahead of Crunky in the BMW, and then Roger the Dodger, Scuderia Sam, and the Scotsman Buck G there. Free Gazelle's up to 8th. Subrosa, though, has just demoted him back down to 9th place, I think. Yes. Oh, and off the road goes Alex CDL, the race leader, and a couple of other cars too. That's Big Bad Wolf off. That lets Roger the Dodger through, and Chris Doughty's really putting Alex under pressure now. He got a much better run out of Paddock Hill than Alex did. And what do you reckon of that start, Alex? That was insane.
Yeah, it's a massive crash. Just a few times. Oh, Alex getting the back there. That's going to allow Chris to get a good run, but top 3 have just dropped down almost right to the back, and Chris has got a massive. Oh, Alex on 2 as he's just held it. He almost went over. Oh, taps Chris there. They both hold that on. Look at his front wheel drive, so they can just slam on the throttle. That's allowing Roger to go around the outside, trying to get 2nd. Looks like he's taking it, but Alex is looking back up the inside. He's bringing Bad Wolf with him, but it looks like he's just backed out. Alex looking on the outside. Roger will have the inside, defend that quite well. Oh, 2 wheels again. That Astra doesn't like going on all 4s, and that's allowing Bad Wolf around the outside. And look like he's got it. Alex fighting back. I think Alex breaks himself a bit, and Alex takes 3rd again. This is a hectic start.
Yeah, Alex CDL there, he's applying for the stunt driver's school of motor in there rather than a racing driver. He's down to 3rd from 1st position, but he's certainly got a lot of pace in that car, so we'll have to see how it goes. And Big Bad Wolf is, oh, Alex off again, he's off, but this time it's much bigger. He's in the grass now, he's out in the field somewhere. This is really not this has not been a very good opening here for Alex CDL. We've seen him have some mistakes previously in this championship, and then there's Free Gazelle now having a go on BTC Sedan. This is great wheel-to-wheel action between the BMW and Renault drivers now as they come onto the start-finish straight. I call it a straight, it's not really straight, is it? It's quite a curve, this one. And it looks like that power of the BMW now just edging ahead of BDCC Dan, but we've seen Dan very quick through paddock hill throughout practice, and you can see now he's taking a really good line right over that curb. We switch now to see Luke McGee, who's attacking Sabrosa. Sabrosa's really coming through the field well here, isn't he?
Yeah, still from qualifying, he's really got the measure of that Renault around this very short Indy version of Brands Hatch. You see he's already flashing lights to tell the D-Man up ahead, I think that is, they come into laps. So D-Man's had a poor start, he's gone right back in his last, as we see Roger now really putting the pressure on Chris for the lead.
Yeah, Roger the Dodger has certainly been in form the last couple of rounds. He had a fantastic scrap with Alex in Oshus 11 last time out for race 1, and he got some really good solid points. He was actually the top scorer over the two 15-minute races that we always run per round in Oshus 11, and he's really putting the Irishman Chris Doughty now under significant pressure. So it's Mercedes and Astra in front, then it's Astra, then it's BMW driver Scuderia Sandler in 4th. Just ahead of Sabrosa, but I got a feeling Sabrosa will pass that BMW before long. And Big Bad Rolf's having a great race, isn't he, up there in 3rd? Much deserved points for him, if he can finish there, of course.
Yeah, he's doing great there in 3rd, it's especially starting almost at the back. You see Roger now, slight mistake there, looks like a bit of a locked up, the Mercedes will do that, and luckily for Sam, you get the straight, but like you said, it's not quite straight. But the BMW should pull away from that Renault unless he's right on his bumper, so he gets a slipstream. We'll see Joe Brown now attack the other BMW of Freegazel. We'll have Stu behind him, and Stu will be catching. Looks like a couple of Astras going wide there, so that's going to help. Sam's hit Wolf there, and that's allowed Sabrosa through, so that's 2 through. Oh, and Joe and Freegazel are off.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening here with the BMW drivers. They must have just pressed the self-destruct button or something. It says Scuderia Sam crashing into Big Red Rolf, and then Freegazel. Who did Freegazel collide with then? Did you see?
I think that was Joe Brown.
Was it Joe Brown, was it? Joe Brown. So he's back down the order now. I think he's in 10th position. And we've seen, it's quite interesting because obviously the drivers have to pit in one of the 15-minute races, don't they? Only one of the 15-minute races. So we've seen some of the drivers preferring to pit in race 1 and others in race 2, but a general trend seems to be if you're having a terrible opening in race 1, then you pit and get it over with. There's Chris Doughty off in the grass, but just about escapes. No, he doesn't, he's off now. He's really compounded that error, and he's off now, and you can see the cars streaming past through Druids, Scuderia Sound through, that's who else was through
Sabrosa.
there? Sabrosa, yeah, that's really not... What happened there?
I think he just got wheels on the grass and settled it, because that is the braking zone, just going over the pedestrian crossing bridge. So when he went to brake, it just caught him out. As we've seen, the Astra rear end is quite a lively thing, and it can just spit you out, and it's just caught Chris there, and unfortunately that's the lead gone, and looks like it could also be a podium gone as Scuderia Sam and Sabrosa move up.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a snapshot of this championship pretty much so far, as we're halfway through the championship now, where it's just absolutely so unpredictable and chaotic. And you can see now, rising on the bumper of Big Bad Wolf, he's behind Luke McGee, who's up into 5th position, and he's having a look down the inside, but he switches to the outside now as the Scotsman holds the inside line, and the Welshman's trying to cut back, but there's someone on his inside, I think. It's BDCC Dan, by the looks of it. Yes, it is. There's Green Machine now. He's fighting through. Well, they call it Crash and Bash because they've had a few incidents together, but I think Crash is through on Bash, or is it Bash through on Crash? I can't remember which way round they come. A bit like Anton Deck or something, isn't it? But anyway, Luke McGee is still ahead, and he's looking in his mirrors, and he's got a different half of Crash and Bash to contend with now.
Yeah, Dan's really found some pace in that. Oh, that's close. He's off. He's in the gravel. Will he keep out the barrier? Just keeps out the barrier. Knocks a few signs out the way, but that doesn't matter. But that's allowed the Astra of Wolf to go through, and Freegazel may get a run on him. I don't think he's quite close enough, as you see new guy Kronk on Joe Brown and the other Renault. He's out to poor race after qualifying so well. He's just touches the gravel there, that will affect him. But yeah, it's quite surprising where some of the drivers are at the moment. You wouldn't expect them, but I know a couple have pitted already, but a lot of the guys at the back have made their way to the front thanks to that massive crash on the first lap.
Yeah, it certainly has shaken up the race massively. So you've got some really quick drivers trying to cut their way back through the field, and some drivers a little bit out of position who haven't quite found the pace yet, but they're way up now. The likes of Scuderia Sam and McGee haven't quite had the pace at this track, but they're up there in good positions at the moment. Roger the Dodger that really is on form at the moment, and he's leading this one at the moment as well, just ahead of his championship nemesis Sabrosa. and it's between those two and also BTC Sedan at the moment. In recent races, the trend does seem to be towards them, and you can see now riding on board with Crunk, looking at Joe Brown just up ahead. It looks like there's a bit of train forming here behind the orange BMW of Stuart Davis, who was of course caught up in the beginning crash as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, it looks like it's for struggling a bit. I don't think the twisty nature of this little track is helpful for that BMW. It's definitely a straight line specialist. That Renault's all over the back. It was oh, we're off. It looks like we're off. Are we in the barrier? Pan back. Yeah, we're in the barrier there. Tricky corners. He's not the only one to go off there, so it doesn't look so bad. But we see the Renault now of Joe Brown going onto the grass. He doesn't need to do that. Stu's going quite defensive. Will he try around the outside? That'd be very brave going into Paddock Hill. Don't think he's quite got it as we cut away to Dan up on the inside of Loopy. And will he try and get Wolf as well? He's trying. Loopy's fighting back very aggressively. Ooh, just pulls out. Dan covers him. This is a great little battle here, but I think Loopy trying to fight back now, looking on the inside. That's a brave place if you go to overtake there. He could get him with a big dive move here. Not close enough at all. Now back onto the straight. That Renault should pull away from Loopy because it's just superior on the top end speed, and probably catch Wolf look now. Wolf going slightly defensive.
Yeah, you have to think so, but it's a really tricky place to overtake into this corner, isn't it? You have to hope that the other car kind of runs wide and try and wrong foot them. But this is the real run now, up into Druids. This is where we see the majority overtaken in this circuit. Look at Luke trying to look down the inside, but he's a little bit too far behind there to make him move past. He's obviously been passed by Big Bad Wolf and BDC Sedan in the last couple of laps or so. And he runs a little bit wide there, but that's okay. We see a lot of the drivers doing some cutting the grass up there as well. And just behind there, I think you can see, I think that's Free Gazelle, but I think he's pitted and he's actually been lapped now.
Yeah, I think him, Joe and D-Man are all lapped currently. They've pitted. I think Alex also pitted. He's down in 9th, but he hasn't quite been lapped. As you see, Roger out ahead, leading the race. So Coach just said that, and I don't think he's got a win in this championship so far, and listening correctly. So it'll be interesting, but it looks like Sabrosa's really hustling and catching up quite fast.
Yeah, we've seen this before from Sabrosa. He's got a lot of pace. Anyway, he's a fast driver, but he's also got a lot of pace in that Renault too, which does seem to have the legs on the rest of the field, or as an average, not on all tracks, not on all conditions, but across everything. It does seem to be the favourable car so far. And Scuderia Sam in the BMW, like you said before, the BMW does favour the straight lines, doesn't it? So, and the Astra there behind with Chris Doherty, he has to really try and make up the time in the corners here. But thankfully for him, there are a lot of corners at the circuit, and he's really going to hustle this BMW now for all it's worth, because if he can get past, that's another podium position for Chris Doherty.
Yeah, that would really help in not only the Drivers' Championship, but also in their own personal Astra Championship, as all the manufacturers are split off for BMW, Mercedes, Renault and Opel. So, and I think Chris is leading, it's between Chris and D-Man is leading the Astra one, so yeah, podium would be brilliant for him. But out in front, Roger from Sabrosa from Scuderia Sam, we can't quite see him there, but I think that's Stu in the background. It looks like they're just going up to the lap. Wolf up ahead, just exiting the pits. I think he should have enough speed to get away, but with the way these two are going, I think they'll catch up quite quickly.
Yeah, definitely. It's a really good scrap going on now for first position, and Roger the Dodger must be absolutely sick of fighting close races for first position. He seems to be in the thick of it in the top positions all the time, and probably just wants a nice quiet race to victory, doesn't he? But Sabrosa's not the sort of person who's going to afford him that possibility. So there's a really good scrap going on for first and second. There's a really good scrap going on for third and fourth. And where else are the other good scraps? Oh, Sabrosa pitting. That's a surprise. And Chris Doherty now is having a little look at third position. And Scuderia Sam just up ahead there. He's desperately trying to hang on to that position, because it'll be an excellent finish for him, because he doesn't tend to go well here at this circuit. But just up ahead now, you've got a very jumpy car of Joe Brown, but looks at it. Oh, and then Scuderia Sam off in the gravel. And Chris Doherty didn't need a second invitation. He takes that podium position away. And you've got D-Man who's going to be lapped just up ahead. And look at Joe Brown's car. He's really suffering with some lagging or something on this game, isn't he? He might be about to disconnect myself, and then that car's absolutely all over the place. And these drivers now just behind are going to have to treat it like the back end of a donkey.
Yeah, they're going to have to be really careful because the car lagging like that, it can jump right across you and hit you out the way. But Chris has got to second now as Subrosa had pitted, and that's brilliant for him points-wise, and he doesn't have to worry about D-Man up ahead in the similar coloured Astra. Doesn't have to worry about the man behind, but we'll be getting close to, as Joker's very wide there, but I think that's just a lag, very close to the final lap. You see Loopy and the yellow BMW of Kronk battling away now for... Are they battling? No, I don't think they are. I think that's him being lapped as Loopy's up to 4th, so great position for him.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic, and we saw him on fire at Oschersleben as well. He took 3 positions in 1 corner. Do you remember that manoeuvre? I think it was in race 2. It was an absolutely fantastic manoeuvre, so the Scotsman really coming on song throughout this championship in that car. He's really getting to grips with it nicely. Alex CDL is always to grips with that car, although sometimes he loses grip as well, as we've seen. Subrosa playing the percentages game, pit in race 1, and he's 5th, but of course he won't need to pit in race 2 as a result. What do you make of Kroenke's pace? Because we've seen him, he had an excellent qualifying. I think he was the top BMW in qualifying, but he hasn't seemed to have the pace in the race.
I think he was 5th or 6th. It was really impressive, but I think it was a case of too many mistakes has just cost him, and I think he's pitted as well, so that's why he's quite far down. But race 2, random grid, it's all to play for.
Certainly, yeah, it's Roger the Dodger coming across the line, and I think this will be his last lap now. It is the final lap, yes. For once we called it before the graphic went up. And Roger the Dodger coming down Drury's for the last time. He doesn't go wide, keeps it nice and clean. You can see him there, he's not pushing the car too hard now because he hasn't got anyone pressuring him too much from behind. Chris Doherty is a good chunk back, I think he's about 8 seconds back in second at the moment. So Scuderia Sam might get on the podium in the end because Subrosa pitted, so might have 3 different cars in the top 3.
I think he is on the podium, he is 3rd currently. Because D-Man's been lapped, so it's not for him to worry. So yes, Sam's 3rd, so it will be 3 different cars unless there's a monumental mistake, as we see Roger coming to the line. I think his first win, if it isn't, I'm sorry, but a great win there, and he's made it easy, to be honest.
Yeah, really good result there by Roger the Dodger. Thoroughly deserved that, because he's been absolutely a form driver recently, and Chris Doherty comes across the line in 2nd there. Scuderia Sam picks up a podium, and Luca McGee with a fine drive to 4th, and Subrosa, the championship leader, taking a good haul of points there, and ahead of BTCC Dan, crucially, with Alex CDL splitting them in 6th.
Yeah, he's Alex really kicking himself there, because he fought back, but too many mistakes, and that's cost him over Subrosa, especially as he's trying to gain as many points, especially after the few disconnects. Dan would be another one disappointed, even though he's weaving there. I think he's just happy the race is finished. But yeah, that first lap incident cost him dearly. So we see the final results there.
Yeah, some scorching lap times being set. You can see there's a Subrosa 46.9. That was, I think, the quickest lap, although, well, it does look like it, doesn't it, actually? You see quite a range, actually, in the lap times. We usually see it all quite close, but it's quite a range at this circuit, and it is a technical little circuit to get your head around. Yeah,
it's quite undulating and big hill, big elevation changes. We see the first lap crash, you just see most of the cars getting nailed in the barrier, and Sam's super lucky there. This is on board with the orange BMW Stu. You see Subrosa's around, and he gets hit by Joe and just sent in the barrier, and no luck there. I think this is that stunt show. Yeah, 2 wheels there, well held just about. Comes back on, tries to brake, just gives a little love tap to Chris, and they both do a nice little Tokyo drift.
Yeah, I don't know if that would count to the drifting championships because they both touched each other, but there's Alex CDL going off into the scenery once again there, and that's another 2 wheels. Who's that on 2 wheels? Who was that? Oh, it's Alex again on 2 wheels. I don't think he knows how to drive on 4 at this rate. And there's down the inside Scuderia Sam, a little bit optimistic there. He's probably looking in his mirrors at the fast approaching car of Subrosa. And who's this on board with?
Chris's accident.
Ah, yeah. That's unfortunate, isn't it? That one just ran a little bit too wide there, and yeah, the traction just went. Oh, that's another angle of Scuderia Sam taken out. Big Bad Wolf, and sneaking through there on the inside. Subrosa taking good advantage of that. So let's see who pitted in race 1 and 2. So there's only a few drivers left to pit in race 2. So yeah, could really shake things up this one.
Yeah, definitely. The top 3 have to pit, as well as D-Man, who was lapped. So that's going to be quite tricky for him.
Yeah, and on the grid now, we're waiting for the lights to go out, and it's a long wait on the grid. Oh, and now they go, finally. And having a cup of tea, I think. Crunky, look at that, straight into the lead there in the BMW on the random grid, of course. And now the other BMW, Scuderia Sam, following through there. And so it's a BMW 1-2 as we go through turn 1 now. Following that is D-Man and Loopy McGeehan. And Scuderia Sam going for the move now on Crunky. And it's 2 BMWs side by side, and he takes the lead away. There's early doors still yet. And there's D-Man now attacking the yellow BMW with BDCC Dan 2 in the mix. And Loopy McGee just holding back, waiting to see what happens here. And then Roger the Dodger, who was the race 1 winner, of course, just ahead. And look at BDC Sedan really throwing that car around, and he's got a really poor exit here though. He's got cars all around him, and he very bravely just throws it in. Oh, a little bit too brave across the grass. Is he going to hang on to it? Just about, I think. And he's up the inside now of the yellow BMW of Crunky. So Crunky's back to 4th now, and it looks like D-Man 2-1 now has taken the lead away from Scuderia Sam. They're going side by side over the start-finish line, and they had a cracking battle, those two did, at Oschersleben last time out in the rain. And it's the power of the BMW showing through there. But he's run a little bit wide now, and this is giving the Astra driver a chance, and he pounces. And he goes through on the inside, and BTC Sedan 2 now goes on the attack, trying to follow through D-Man. And look at that fantastic manoeuvre there from BTC Sedan, who really needs these points in the championship. And what a great start to the race that was. Yeah,
brilliant start as you see the 2 Astras battling away, Alex and Loopy. That's going to allow Subrosa to go up the inside, because he had a nice little run, but I think Loopy covered him off. As we look back to D-Man in second, he's got a whole bunch of Astras trying to chase him there. Sorry, BMWs. Looks like Roger's making his way up through the field as well. He's attacking both the BMWs now. It just shows how good his pace is around here. On board with him now. He'll have the inside line if he breaks a bit later.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate there for Roger the Dodger. He had a great run, and he was going really on the attack, going very nicely, and then just tapped the back of the car in front. Probably got caught out by the closing speed a bit there, isn't it, Alex? Very unfortunate, and he's got all the work to do now.
Kicking himself, at least he has maximum points for the first race. And yeah, Alex looking down the inside there. Oh, bit of a dive as well. That's quite brave there. Sam left the room, and he's forcing him wide, very wide. He's onto the gravel, and now 1 BMW through. Astra, Renault is bit of train going through there. Sam's really lost out there with 4 cars going through just from being hustled out wide, as he'll be fighting back. Ooh, bit of lag there from Henry as Loopy goes wide onto the ground. I think that was because Subrosa forced him there, but ooh, is that Sam getting hit there? Yeah, he's in the wars on this one. You got Loopy battling his way through, but I think the BMW have the legs on him going down the hill and the inside line, which was also helpful. Yeah, you see in the rearview mirror there, you got Loopy behind, and I think Henry's being held up by the other BMW because Sam just drove up behind him.
Hey, it does look like it, doesn't it? I think Subrosa tried to have a little look at the BMW as they went through the corner after Druids, which I can't remember what the corner's called, and he didn't quite get through, and that put Scuderia Sam right on the back. But I think Scuderia Sam now have to dive into the pits. Oh, and look at that! That's Big Bad Wolf there. Nearly got put in the pits by Free Gazelle. That's incredible. There was a nice little Celtic battle brewing up there between the Scotsman and the Welshman there, McGee and Scuderia Sam. But I think Scuderia Sam's in the pits now. And look at this now, Alex CDL is heading a nice little train of cars.
Yeah, it's not got much pace in the second race, it looks like. And what Subrosa has to remember is these 2 guys have pitted, so he'll have to fight for these positions. They're not going to make it easy, especially around this little Indy track.
No, you're right there. And Stuart Davis, we haven't really mentioned him much, but he doesn't have to pit, I believe, in this race. Correct me if I'm wrong. And he's in 7th at the moment, so he could come into play quite possibly in that BMW scrap he's having with Scuderia Sam in the championship. They haven't really seen each other on track much recently, but they're having a really good tussle, so he's ahead obviously at the moment. And now looking ahead there to Alex CDL, and Crunky in the BMW, after having a bit of a disaster of a first race, is really coming on song here, and he's pressurising one of the fastest drivers in the league just up ahead. He's in a sandwich at the moment with Subrosa just behind him. He's really in the thick of the action as Crunky, and it's great to see newcomers getting really thick in the action.
Yeah, it's great to see. He's in probably one of the hardest positions he'll be in all season. He's got a fast driver in front, but with a struggling car, and then probably the fastest driver at the moment in Sabrosa, who's looking up the inside. He's really got that move nailed down. He just gets a better exit and then really gets a drive down. But that BMW is so fast in a straight. He wasn't going to match it at all. But on the braking, can he match it? He's struggled in the first race, so we cut away to see Chris and Sam battling.
Yeah, they found each other on the same bit of tarmac in race 1 as well, and it was Chris Doherty who came out on top in that one. So let's see what happens this time. It looks like Chris is ahead just for now, but BDC Sedan, who really needs these points, is leading the way at the moment, and he's just ahead of D-Man, who had a bit of a quiet race 1, didn't he? He got lapped, and I think he was in the wars as well. So some good points here for D-Man, hopefully, and he's really battling hard here with BDC Sedan, and they're quite close in the championship too, let's not forget. BDC Sedan is trying to keep tabs of Subrosa, trying to hang on to him in the title race, and at the moment first place will do very nicely for him.
Yeah, I'm not sure
if he has to pit.
Yeah, thank you so much. Brain fade then. But, I think from earlier it says he has to, but which unfortunate. But those two are pulling away quite a bit, so he might be able to get a good gap here because it's only a short pit lane. Alex going wide. Let's go allow Sabrosa to catch up. He's got past the yellow BMW, so this will be interesting. See if his little move works here. But as we know, Alex can be quite a pain to overtake.
Yeah, he knows how to place a car, doesn't he? He's been doing racing in this league since it started last April, so over a year now. And Sabrosa's a relative newcomer to the league. But of course he knows how to place a car too. He was runner-up in the recent GT3 championship we did when he was using the Porsche there. But Stuart Davis, look at him in the BMW. He's really now coming on song, and he's trying to catch the Scotsman Loopy McGee just up ahead there. So Loopy McGee, after battling with one BMW, he's now going to have another BMW which looks exactly the same, because Stuart Davis has neglected his orange livery for this one, and Subrosa now right under the rear wing there, right on the bumper of Alex CDL. But I don't think he's going to have a go through this corner because there's not really enough room. He might have to wait till the straight here unless he can sling it up the inside, but Alex CDL is going to be wise to it, and as long as he doesn't run too wide, he just about gets away with that lock up there. And it's a really good scrap going on, and the Renault there has a little bit more power than the Astra on the straight, so this could be interesting now because it's very close as they go on over the start finish line.
Well, Alex squeezes him a bit there. That's a bit naughty. He could have put him in barrier, but he goes defensive, makes Sabrosa go around the outside. A bit of a wobble there, both throwing it out wide. I think Alex knew he'd do that. Sabrosa going for a dive. Alex covers quite late, gets it, tries for the cutback. Alex will just hold his line and stop on the apex and then pull away. This could be quite feisty if it gets towards the end of the race.
Yeah, really fantastic racecraft from the both of them there. You can see Alex knew exactly what Sabrosa was up to, and you can see Sabrosa as well absolutely trying every trick in the book there to try and wrong foot Alex CDL. But if he can carry on doing that, it could be a little rehearsal for what's to come in the next few corners, and Alex CDL will only know this too well as well. So it could, yeah, like you say, could end up being fireworks between those two. A great little scrap going on. I wouldn't like to say who's going to come out on top in that one, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it might be a case of either a big dive or a big crash that sorts that one out. As we see Wolf in 8th place, bit quiet. You can see the 7th place Stu up ahead, who's, like you said, who's not in his usual orange. He must like what Sam's car looks like, so he's copied him. But back in the action, Cronky's not out of this one yet. These two battling, he can catch up, as we see Alex going very wide. That's an odd line. Sabrosa trying on the inside, Alex around the outside, so he's not letting him get through that easily.
Side by side through that corner line and not touching, that is skill.
Yeah, you've really got to respect the other driver there. He's not going to punt you off, so that's quite brave as well. Alex trying to break the slipstream of old Cronky now. See the battle ahead. Alex is defending a bit late. That's caused Sabrosa to hang up a bit. Oh, onto the gravel. That's not going to help him. Well held there. He could have. That could have almost like a high side on a bike just thrown him. But he's still in this bit further back now. Sabrosa's desperate to get through. You can just see.
Yeah, he's absolutely all over the back of that Astra, and he just won't let Alex CDL catch a breath, will he, through here. And this is why he's leading the championship, because he fights for every single point that's on offer, even though he's already in a pretty good position. and he's trying to get here a podium position, which was certainly, well, don't know if it would extend his lead or not. We'll have to wait to see how it all shakes out, but it would certainly help his chances. And you can see now coming under pressure is BDCC Dan from the Irishman, D-Man. And once again we go up to Druids. Talk us through this one, Alex.
Yeah, up to Druids. Alex defending late again. This he sort of knows what's happening with Spruce, so Rosa's going to have to mix it up, but it does kind of look like these two are catching the leaders up. It's down to 4.5 seconds now, where it was quite a bit bigger. So even though they're battling, they've got some serious pace on them. And you can just see them up ahead. The camera pans away before we can see the other cars going through. BCC Dan pulling away. I think it's just a matter of time for when D-Man pits at this point, but he's sticking with BCC Dan, trying to get that gap out. As you see in the background, Sabrosa looking around the outside, not the ideal line. You can do it if you brake late and brave enough, but it's all about the car on the inside. He'll probably try and get a cut back
He's
here.
looking for the cut back.
He certainly does. Oh, will Alex block it? Yeah, he blocks him off. Oh, it's great attacking and defending here. Oh, Sabrosa hits him out of the way. They're going to be side by side now, going down to the left-hander. Alex just gets ahead. Oh, you can see the frustration in that Renault.
Yeah, you can. He's got more pace than Alex at this stage of the race. That's quite clear, I think, in that Renault, if he could just get past. But Alex Ideal firmly defending so far, and he's not putting a foot wrong. It's a lot of pressure, even though it's just virtual racing and it's a bit of fun at the end of the day. These drivers are so competitive when it comes down to it, and there is that buzz that they get from it when they're trying to defend a position like this. Two evenly matched drivers in terms of pace, and Sabrosa once again trying to get through on Alex CDL, but he's just not having anything of it. But can Alex CDL last this pressure for the whole race? It's going to be difficult. Sabrosa's really alongside this time now on the outside. Alex CDL needs to hold the inside if he can, but Sabrosa's found a way through now, and trading paint, and Sabrosa forcefully gets his way past Alex CDL, now looking to the inside as they come out of Druids, but I think it's done now. He runs a bit wide, they both run a little bit wide, and I think that's Sabrosa through. Fantastically worked manoeuvre there. Finally he gets a way through, but Alex CDL's not done yet now as they come onto the start finish straight once again, and he's going to get the slipstream from the Renault, so it's not over yet, Alex.
No, it's certainly not over. That Renault's still faster. You can see he's not really catching. Will Alex throw it down inside the Astros? A lot better brakes. It looks like it.
Oh.
Ooh, 2 wheels. Oh, what's happened there? We cut away. I think he went on 2 wheels, and I think that's going to cost him a bit there. Yeah, looking at the timing sheet, the BMW's through now of Kroenke, so must be a mistake there before he cut away. But now we see Loopy with Scuderia Sam down in 10th, 11th, with Roger in 12th there, so he's caught up. This is a good little battle for the final 3 positions.
Yeah, even though it is just for 10th, 11th and 12th, it's a really good little scrap. And you've pretty much got the slowest driver leading the trio there, and the fastest of this bunch at the moment anyway in these cars. And back then, look at Luke G, really drifted it wide there, and he's going to come into significant pressure now from the Mercedes driver. And this could be a repeat of Alex CDL versus Sabrosa here, with the Mercedes trying to look for the cutback, but I think Luke G keeps it nice and clean, and there was no way through for Roger the Dodger this time round. But Roger the Dodger will not want to finish 12th, will he? I mean, he had a bit of bad luck early on. He could be up there really high up in the positions right now. Instead, he finds himself battling for 11th and 12th. But he needs to get all the points he can, because it's a tight championship and anything can happen, like we've seen already today in these races. But Luke McGee stands firm there, and this has allowed Scuderia Sam just to edge away a little bit.
Yeah, he'll get a bit more of an advantage, as said before. BMW's faster on the straight, but as we go down Paddock Hill, that's Loopy well off wide there into the kitty litter. He's gone. That's allowed Rogers through to 11th, so he can try and catch Sam up. But it's the only thing with doing this virtually. It's Paddock Hill bend doesn't look as steep as it actually is in real life. It's almost like a roller coaster when you actually see it in person. It's quite incredible. So we see BTCC Dan still battling with D-Man. I'm not sure if he still has to pit though. As the graphic at the start of the race says he does, so he's leaving this very late if he does have to.
Yeah, he certainly is, but look at D-Man, he's really piling the pressure on now as the race enters its final stages. We've only got another lap or so after this, and BDCC Dan is, we see the very fast cameraman now coming across the line. BDCC Dan still ahead of the Irishman, so this is fantastic stuff. I don't think he does need to pit then. Maybe the graphic was wrong, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Coming round Paddock Bend now, look at that,
mistake.
Just drifting it slightly, but I think D-Man drifted slightly wider possibly there, nearly caught the gravel, so it let him off the hook there. For BTC Sedan, and now round Druids, one of the best overtaking spots on the circuit, and D-Man isn't anywhere near at the moment, and it looks like BTC Sedan's gonna get this one as long as he doesn't make a mistake. But look at the Irishman there, he's still all over the back of him.
Yeah, you have to imagine it's now or never for D-Man. Ooh, looks like he's trying. He's a lot better in this last sector. That the Astra seems to carry a lot more speed and can brake later, but then on the straight, Dan just pulls away, as it looks like he's come over the line to finish. Yeah, he's come over the line to finish, so a great win there for BTC Sedan from D-Man, and I haven't seen him, but I believe Sabrosa's got third from the timing sheets, and Kroenke fourth, but it's not all over for 10th place. Roger's still pushing Sam. Looking at the outside, that's not where he wanted to be. Sam defends. Oh, that's going really on the inside there. Mercedes Roger looking all over the place to try and get a spot. Sam won't want to let him through. Will he go for a dive? He does go for a dive. Will he get the run? That B&W's so fast on the straight. Mercedes looks like he's got it. B&W will fight back. But I think he's just got the job done. Great move there by Roger.
Yes, almost a photo finish on the line there. Roger the Dodger absolutely fantastically managed to get 10th place there. A bit of consolation. Of course, he tapped Scuderia Sam in the beginning, didn't he? Which sent him off, and that's why he was in that position in the first place. But anyway, some points there for him. And BTC Sudan, a really valuable win there at this stage of the championship, where he really needs to stay in a hunt with Subrosa. Just ahead of D-Man, a fantastic scrap between those two. And then Subrosa, ever consistent, third place after a great scrap with Alex CDL, with Kroenke splitting them. A great drive from Kroenke there in fourth.
Yeah, really good, especially on his second race with the guys, and it shows the pace he has in that BMW. So looking forward to the future with him.
Yeah, it could put the cat amongst pigeons there a little bit, couldn't it, with the BMW drivers, seeing that sort of pace there from Kroenke on only a second race. The likes of Stuart Davis and Scuderia Sam and Free Gazelle will be taking notice of that at the next round at Zolder.
Yeah, as you see the replay here, just have a look. I think this is the race start. Oh, that's BMW's been bumped. I think this is the incident that happened to Alex. Yeah, just on the curb, and that car goes light, and he's in the gravel. For some reason, that Astra like to go on two wheels for Alex.
Yeah, he's maybe been watching a little bit too much motorcycle racing. Look at the start here from the two BMWs. Look at that from the random grid starting positions. I think they were both in the top 5 on the grid and straight into first and second. And then Scuderia Sam diving down the inside to take the lead momentarily.
Yeah, it's a good move there, and Kroenke staying out the way respectfully. It was not very respectfully. It was Lupe's move on Sam just putting the straight in the side door there, but Sam coming back and keeping the position. That was a great little tussle there between those two. Yeah,
Sam got elbowed off a little bit by Alex, didn't he? Absolutely brutally elbowed off by Alex Didier earlier on. He wasn't having any of it that time. And look at that fantastic manoeuvre there from Subrosa and Alex. It was really well worked after so many laps bottled up behind. Finally got past, and then exiting the pits here from Luke and McGee. You can see that BMW just about edging ahead there, and then he had Roger the Dodger behind him too.
Yeah, it was probably a worst position for him to come out there, as he's looking at the incident with Roger. Yeah, just lost the back end, it looks like, in the round he went. That was really unfortunate.
Yeah, so the championship standings now look like this. Subrosa's on 338 points, just ahead of BTC Sedan now. Well, I say just ahead, he's got a nice little cushion back to him, but with so many points on offer per race, anything can still happen, especially with the disconnections we've seen as well. So who knows, but Roger the Dodger is in third there. I think he's closed in slightly. D-Man in fourth, Alex CDL in fifth, Chris Doherty in sixth. Those three having a great little scrap there. There's a bit of a gap back there to Scuderia Sam, Stuart Davis, and I think Luke McGee as well. Those three having a great scrap.
Yeah, no, manufacturers, obviously Subrosa leading the Renaults, D-Man leading the Opels, but his lead's been cut quite short by Alex, who had two decent races, and especially Chris as well, who's just 6 points behind us. It's really close to the Opels, and super close between the top two BMW drivers, only 7 points there, and then quite a bit of a gap in the Mercedes battle.
Yeah, it's a little bit. Swayzer, of course, started a little bit late and wasn't involved this time, but team standings also, look at that, just 2 points separating the top three there. This is crazy stuff. and then a bit of a gap back to JP221. Joe Brown hasn't done all of the rounds, so that's not bad going for those two then, the team standings. And there are, of course, just a few rounds left of this championship before it all settles out, and who knows what's going to happen next, Alex?
No, especially going to, I believe it's Zolder next, so nice tricky circuit. Hopefully we'll get another new winner, or even another new manufacturer, with the BMWs looking to possibly get a win.
Yes, so join us there, and we'll see you there.